Welcome back, folks. Hope you're fine, wherever you are. Now, President Ruto will face the toughest opposition come 2027. One, because GACHAGUA, Matiangi, Kalonzo, Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, and other key figures have officially ganged up against him. And actually, their main agenda is to send Ruto Sugoi come 2027. Why these people? Let me just give you a full twist, a short twist about these key opposition leaders. Gachagua, of course, we all know that Gachagua is a former deputy president, and we know that Ruto impeached him. That's the reality, even though he's trying to distance himself from it. But the truth is, Ruto is the one who impeached Gachagua. And Gachagua has personal vendetta against Ruto. And he has, he feels betrayed, and actually he doesn't sleep. He wants to revenge. He wants to make sure that President Ruto suffers for the betrayal he did to him. Now, Matiangi, of course, the ex-interior. Matiangi was the most powerful minister or CS under Uhuru Kenyatta's leadership. That's the reality. And if there's someone who was a rival to Ruto is Matiangi, because it reached a point whereby Matiangi was given full powers by President Ruto, and of course, even by President Uhuru Kenyatta, and of course, he even overshadowed President Ruto. He took over the deputy president role when Ruto was the deputy. Ruto was still there. So Matiangi can command deep state loyalty, yeah, and that could mobilize security network. So why do you think so many people want Matiangi to be the flag bearer? Because they believe he has that commanding power. He can command security forces. He has his people in the network, and this will be a threat to President Ruto. And of course, Kalonzo Musyoka is a veteran. Yeah, he's a crafty opposition. We know that, and he's been uniting rivals. And Kalonzo's history. Kalonzo is just like Raila Odinga. Yeah, he's been fighting the government in all elections, and of course, Kalonzo is very important in this formation, and because he can easily, unite Kenyans, and Kenyans can easily listen to him because he's been there with Raila Odinga. So the people who are with Raila Odinga can easily shift their support to Kalonzo Musyoka, because as per now, Raila is with Ruto, so but we don't know what will happen in future. And again, within Wamalwa and Madakaru, of course, this represent Mount Kenya. Of course, Madakaru represent Mount Kenya. Of course, he commands Kikuyu votes and other Mount Kenyan votes. And Wamalwa, of course, he commands Western region. So these are powerful people who are there to face Ruto in 2027. And again, why do you think it is their time now? This is the perfect time for them to unseat Ruto in status. Why do you think so? One, the BBC Bloodshed Parliament. Yeah, BBC Bloodshed Parliament, the documentary. This has really weakened Ruto's legitimacy. Yeah, and right now the whole country is blaming the president for what happened last year, and this could stand a chance for these leaders there to unseat Ruto because Ruto's name is not good there. That's a fact. And again, Gen Z's rage. Uh, Remember, the Gen Z's revolution was one that the country has never seen. Even remember the young people invading parliament, destroying everything. The country, actually, the whole world was watching. Even CNN was broadcasting, this whole thing. So the Gen Z's revolution, the Gen Z's rage over taxes and killings makes him 2027's easiest target. Yeah, this Gen Z revolution won't be forgotten, especially after this BBC documentary. And this, through the opposition, Gachagua will be reminding Kenyans in next elections, next campaigns, yeah, how the Gen Zs, protested and why they protested. And this could make Ruto a target for destruction. And of course, Gashagua's mutiny. Remember, Gachagua splits Ruto's Mount Kenya base. Gachagua's managed to have interviews. In these interviews, I tell you what, you don't need, you should, no one should lie to you that these interviews are useless. These interviews are being listened to, and these interviews can easily destroy Ruto in Mount Kenya because Gachagua's main focus is shifting Mount Kenyans' votes from Ruto's basket to the opposition basket, even though they still don't have a flag bearer. But the day they will unveil their flag bearer, the Shago will manage to transfer all Mount Kenyan votes to that flag bearer. It could be anyone among them. Now, you see now, uh, their strategy to unseat Ruto. It's so easy. Yeah, narrative. Yeah, the Shago is good in narrative, and they want to paint Ruto as worse than Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, they have really already begun to doing so. They want to paint Ruto as the worst president in Kenya. Already they are saying it. So this is their strategy based on what has been happening, based on the kidnapping, taxes, theft, name them. So that strategy is the grassroots. They want to use Gen Z protests to justify a rescue mission. They want to say that Gen Zs, Gen Zs protested, yeah, and Gen Zs that no one sent them to protest. They went themselves because they felt pressed. They felt that the government was being unfair to the nation. So they'll be using this narrative, this strategy to justify a rescue mission. Yeah, they want to rescue Kenyans from Ruto's, barbaric leadership. Let me put it that way. Yeah, according to them. And their coalition strategy is the best because they will force a single opposition candidate, possibly Kalonzo or Karua. They want to, I believe they'll go maybe for Kalonzo because Kalonzo stands a good chance. He's a former vice president also. He's so powerful. So should they go with Kalonzo, this means that Gashagua's Mount Kenya and Kamba nation will come together combined with other regions in Kenya. I think Ruto will have the toughest time in his 35 years of politics. And now, I think having said all this, do you think Ruto will succeed? And sorry, do you think this opposition, Matiang'i, Gachagua, Kalonzo, Madakarua, Eugene Amalo, and the rest, will succeed, the, you know, making Ruto a one-term president? Because coming together that doesn't mean that you're going to unseat someone. It has to do with a lot of things. Do you think that these people will manage removing Ruto from power? That's the question I think I need to ask you guys. One, the only way if they want to succeed, if they want to succeed unseating Ruto, because Ruto is a clever politician, I always say that, and you can't just remove him from power. They will think you have to be clever too. In fact, more clever. Um, they have to avoid tribal splits. Kalonzo versus Gachagua ego clashes. Yeah, Kalonzo and Gachagua, they should sit down and decide on who will be the flag bearer. They should not, fight each other. They should avoid tribal splits because one might think that he's been sidelined, or even the government might even make them split. That's the reality. And of course, another thing is that Gen Z stays anti-Ruto should not be distracted. Okay, if the Gen Z's revolution continues, the unity, their quest for good leadership, if it continues, they might use that as their bargaining power come 2027. Because right now, the Gen Z's changed how Kenyan politics should be conducted. And if the Gen Z's revolution continues, that might be danger. That might make Ruto, you know, an easy target in 2027. It might weaken his power to remain as president of Kenya after the elections. And of course, another thing, hey, Ruto might buy them also. Money is the worst. Money is sweet. Ruto might buy these people. Yeah, remember in 1992, how do you think Moi won? Moi managed to make Kibaki and Matiba split. Moi managed to weaken the opposition. Actually, he bought them. Yeah, one day Kalonzo might wake up in the morning, apate some 5 billion Kenyan shillings in his account. Then apate a message. You all need to do is to defect. All need to do is to, fight, fight Gachagua and Jitoe for opposition. Then maybe you don't know what might happen. Or even Gachagua might be bought. That's what the government does. If Ruto akigundua kwamba the position is so powerful, he will just buy one of them. Yeah, just buy one of them. The one that seems powerful. Maybe Ruto, maybe Kalonzo or Matiang'i. After buying them, you will have already made the position weak because people will be confused now. Now the unity, the voters now will give up. And what will they do? Either they not vote or they'll vote for Ruto. So that might be a strategy. That if they avoid that, if they avoid being bought, then I think and they remain together, then I think Ruto will have it rough to remain the president of Kenya. And also, the alliance should not be fighting over 2032. Like who will, if now Alonso is the flag bearer, who will be the next flag bearer? That might bring internal wrangles, and that might make them split also. That's the point. So those are the points that I wanted us to share with you, my viewers. And I think the question is, do you really think these people will win this election? That's the biggest question. Do you really think these people will win this election? Or do you think these are just noises that cannot, stop a cow from drinking water? Do you think so? Comment there and of course tell me your point.